Yo, what's good with the YouTube? It's your boy 30. We back with another reaction video. Today we finna go ahead and react to one of these, the family TV videos. As y'all know, he be having the hood videos and stuff. It's different from the body count reactions I be doing, but if you new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you ain't new here, make sure you like and drop a comment down below if y'all rocking with the channel. If y'all rocking with me, make sure y'all help me grow this channel. And we finna go ahead and get into this video. Make sure y'all got y'all thonks and everything rolled. Already rolled up. I know what time it is.
He have a bullet lodged in his brains. They're saying there was the crime to France, but in as much as how he's not a citizen of your country, Medicare do not cover him. He don't have no health insurance over there. So they're trying to see the way forward to get him airlifted back to Port of Spain here so that they could do the surgery to save his life.
Strike. K-Man 6 continues to not take accountability for some many deaths by his one diss track alone. Were they sacrificed? Questions are still unanswered.
Fam, today we traveling to a country with just about 1.3 million residents, a place known for beautiful beaches and a culture. But recently, it's been making headlines for something much darker. Within the last 24 hours, reports have surfaced about a Miami woman who traveled there to celebrate a birthday with her sister. What was supposed to be a quick getaway ended in a tragedy. Instead of returning home with memories and pictures from a birthday trip, she returned.
I ain't gonna lie, me personally, I'm low-key scared to go out the country, because I'm not on U.S. soil. And I know it's a lot of people that envy the U.S. and I know it's a lot of people that hate the U.S. So I ain't ever been out the country. I probably go out the country, but it's gonna take something to get me out the country. I ain't gonna lie.
To the United States in a casket. And according to reports, her family had to wait 4 long weeks before they can even give her a proper funeral. Now the situation has sent shockwaves across social media, leaving many people asking the same questions. How did this happen? Why did it take so long? And who exactly was responsible? Because according to authorities,
4 weeks, that make you think they trying to cover us some shit.
This situation is much deeper than a random act of violence. You see, investigators say another victim was also involved. Not the sister who traveled with her, but a well-known businessman and an alleged drug dealer, who authorities say was in the middle of a deadly war happening inside of Trinidad. A war that's already had left hundreds of bodies behind. No exaggeration, fam. And many people believe this war escalated even further after one of the most viral diss tracks that the country has ever seen hit the internet, with lyrics that some say were too real for comfort. Because according to reports,
damn, they got rappers and shit out there in Trinidad.
the same pattern that's been happening in this war may have happened here. Targets get located, shots ring out, and sometimes innocent people are caught in the middle. Women, children, anyone in the wrong place at the wrong time. And unfortunately, that may be exactly what happened to this young woman from the United States. So today, we're gonna break down who she was, what authorities are saying, and how this ongoing war may have led to this tragedy. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Fam, before we even talk about what happened that night, we first gotta understand the war that authorities say this situation may be connected to. Because over in Trinidad, a country where, as we mentioned, just about 1.3 million residents, police say violent crime in certain communities has been fueled by ongoing gang conflict that's been brewing for years. Police say this gang war is allegedly responsible for around 600
This shit ain't no different from the U.S.
murders in 2025, about half the national average. And for a population that small, that number is massive. One of the most talked about groups involved in that violence is a network known locally as Rasta City. Now originally, reports say tension existed between individuals connected to Rasta City and rival groups that were often described locally as Muslim-affiliated gangs operating in nearby communities. But over time, what started as street rivalry didn't just stay between two sides. According to investigators, the real turning point came when Rasta City itself began to fracture internally. Former allies began turning on each other, and eventually, the group split.
See, being in a big group, that shit have never worked. Somebody gonna feel like they got more power than the next person, and then that shit gonna just crumble the whole operation down.
Into two rivals, commonly referred to as the 6 and the 7. From that point on, the violence escalated. Police in Trinidad said the fallout between these fractions has been linked to dozens, if not hundreds, of retaliatory shootings, contributing to the homicide count, as we mentioned, around 600 murders in 2025. And just like we've seen in cities across the United States, the street war didn't stay in the streets. It started showing up in music. Rappers tied to both sides began releasing songs dissing each other, sometimes referencing real murders, real neighborhoods, and real enemies, which only added more fuel to an already deadly situation. And according to authorities, the man who was targeted the night that Miami woman lost her life may have been connected to the same ongoing conflict. So now let's speak on the music side of things. When it came to the Six, they had artists like Rebel Six, having tracks like Rifle War, millions of views online. But unfortunately, he was gunned down after moving to Miami inside his home back in 2020. July 5th, at around 11:45 p.m., Rebel was at his Vickery Crescent Bon Air Gardens home, where the 26-year-old artist was playing video games in his living room with the front door open when two men entered the house and shot him several times. He was taken to a local hospital and it was pronounced deceased.
Imagine you in a crib, comfortable, playing a game, in your element, in your comfort zone, in your safe zone, and two niggas just walk up in there and do you in. Like, come on, bro.
Upon arriving at 12:35 a.m.
I wonder if he would have had his door closed if the situation, like, you just think of shit like that, like, damn, what if he would have
Peace and love and condolences to his family. Police say the killing was gang-related, and they continue their investigation to this day. But they let you know, even in Miami, if they can get you, you weren't getting away.
Full of machine like odds and standard. This mob's a J-man, proceeded in the land. Hey.
Another Six artist was artists like Wacko Don. He also had millions of views online and tracks like Born Winner, but unfortunately, he was gunned down as well. He lost his life May 3rd, 2023 in St. Anne's, Port of Spain. He was just 22 years old. He was with friends in a yard at Simon Valley Road when armed men approached and shot him, hitting him in the face. He died on the scene. The killing occurred just days after he released a diss track containing threats against a well-known gang leader. And I want y'all to remember these names, because they'll later play key to what most say the most disrespectful diss track that came out of Trinidad. Now at this point, it would seem like the Six was getting built, but it didn't stop there. It was another attempt on another
side with Black Youngster. That's
Six rapper was identified as K-Man 6.
Fuck Prezi, I remain it. Me shrubby nozzle in the face, I'm well it. Darkness in a...
Don lost his life. K-Man 6 had an attempt on his life. It was Wednesday, December 27, 2023. While three of his acquaintances was also in the car, he was ambushed, leaving his driver shot instantly. He crashed and managed to get on camera. K-Man 6 managed to get out and run before the attackers came to the car and finished everybody off they saw. The two of the deceased was identified as Jerry Davis, aka J-Man, and another who was identified by his alias, Fats.
That's my camera in a way, but that shit, bro, they really getting busy out there in Trinidad. Them boys not bullshitting, they not playing no games whatsoever. That shit, what? They making niggas rap again up on the car and damn, he blowing at him. Damn. Oh, they weren't fucking around. Bro, that's like 5 to 6 niggas on one hit. Them boys coming to kill. What the fuck? They blowing shit down. Hey, he making shit. He making sure they gone.
Now K-Man 6, he would survive, and during the summer of 2025, he would go perform at a Moon Bar rooftop club in Maho Village But just 4 weeks later, a rival will also go perform at the same location. A coincidence? Or a setup? You see, we talked about one fraction of Roster City, the 6. Now let's talk about the 7. You see, that rival gang member was a man identified as Plumpy Boss, a well-known artist with millions of views that repped the 7. He was the guy to set to perform at the Moon Bar Rooftop Club. And just so we all stay on track, fam, this is also the guy that authorities claim was the motive behind the drug dealer and the woman from Miami losing their life leaving the club on the first week of March of 2026.
Every gun we buy, we done live for that. Them a lick a pussy with some liquor shop. Hardball.
On the last day of July, 2 Plumpy Boss had just left his performance on the Moon Bar Rooftop Club at around 4:10 a.m., now considered a Sunday morning, when suddenly a gunman had opened fire on Plumpy and members of his entourage who rushed into a black van that was shot at multiple times. The shooting left the artist shot in the head once. Police say over 50 rounds was let off. 3 other people were also wounded inside the van. 2 women who was with the artist and 1 other member from his entourage. Things wasn't looking too good. He was in a coma, which led to his mother to reach out and speak publicly, trying to get her son flown out of the country in order to get to a hospital that took her son health insurance.
In all the hospitals, in St. Martin Medical Center, he have a bullet lodged in his brains. They're saying they was to fly him to France, but in as much as how he's not a citizen of the whole country, Medicare do not cover him. He don't have no health insurance over there. So they're trying to see the way forward to get him airlifted back to Port of Spain here so that they could do the surgery to save his life. But right now he's in a medically induced coma because the bullet is lodged in his brains.
Now, with that, Miss Emmanuel, I think you do have a message that you would like to get to the Prime Minister. What would that message be? Can tell us you were very passionate.
I would like the Prime Minister to waive the healthcare policy all they have in St. Martin. Because at the end of the day, my son didn't come St. Martin to break nobody's house, to rob nobody, to kill nobody. He comes St. Martin to entertain St. Martin people, right? Knowing that they is gang affiliated with the 6 gang.
But at the same time, I can't lie. If your son out here giving out belt, shooting at niggas and doing all that crazy shit, hey, maybe it's his time. Maybe his consequences to pay came and got him. You can't say he a good boy and he a saint and he don't do this and do that when he linked to killings and gang and
Right? He still take a chance.
I understand that's your son. You gonna have unconditional love for him.
My child lie down in St. Martin Hospital where he have no
health care,
where he have no insurance.
He know exactly what come with this. He know what come behind it.
To be medically taken care of properly. I'm calling on your Prime Minister, your Health Minister, your Director of Public Prosecution, your Commissioner of Police, whoever, to take it upon themselves to make sure my child get the surgery that he need in St. Martin. If that is in France or Guadeloupe, they say the healthcare thing, or they don't have no neurosurgeon. But since St. Martin know that center don't have no neuro, why they didn't look to airlift the boy? They're still telling me, but they can't do nothing because he's not a citizen and he don't have no healthcare insurance for St. Martin. If for Trinidad government would have seen about all their citizens and send them back nice and in perfect order, unless God say, well, he expire. You understand? So why St. Martin government can't do the same courtesy? I mean to say the boy didn't come over in all their country to commit no crime. He come to entertain all the people. The party name keep up that. That is the biggest tune he have out right now. And that is all that can do my child St. Martin people. That is all that can do my child, boy.
Has this information been relayed to any of the authorities here on St. Martin that this was the case concerning gang affiliation or anything of that sort?
No, well, I ain't get to talk to all the commissioner yet. That's why I wanted to go live for all the come to address St. Martin.
Now, when St. Plumpy had survived, thank God, shortly over time, he would go to Instagram and show his recovery. Now, what we spoke on is just what's public. I can only imagine what's not. But recently, a couple months ago, a good friend of Plumpy, who's another well-known rapper from the 7, had managed to drop a diss song that was the most viewed rap song coming out of Trinidad in 3 months, with 17 million plus and counting. And just to keep things in perspective, we talking about a rap diss song that came from a country with allegedly less than 1.5 million residents. But in this song, he was disrespectful. From what I could pick up, and I'm sure I'm missing a whole lot, I can clearly see he got graves coming up in the video with members that we talked about, like Rebel and Wacko. And from what I could pick up, he basically saying Six got a bunch of dead people and nobody stepping for they men. The song was titled Just Do It by Mayor's Boss. Just so we clear, he's an affiliate of 7 Block.
Bad juvenile with no fear cops. Check the scoreboard, now it full of dead ups.
Fast forward 3 months after that song was released, an alleged dealer, who was allegedly known to supply the Sevens, would be gunned down leaving a nightclub in an ambush attack. But this time he wasn't alone. He was with a 29-year-old woman from Miami named Denisha Delancey, who traveled to St. Martin with her sister and friends for a birthday celebration. After meeting local businessman Quincy Damon Sylvester at a nightclub, she stayed with him when her group returned to their lodging hours later. Their vehicle was ambushed on Alert Peters Road, overturning after gunfire. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Police obtained nightclub surveillance showing unidentified individuals tracking Sylvester before the shooting, suggesting a planned execution. Authorities say Sylvester, a Trinidad national, was suspected of using.
She went out there for fun and like, damn, bro, doing your birthday time, but like, man,
his PVC pipe business as a front for drug trafficking and had ties to organized crime. Delancey, with no criminal links, was likely an unintended victim. According to Target Hit, may she rest in peace and love and condolences to her family. Now, St. Martin's major crimes team quickly reclassified the incident from a traffic accident to a double homicide. They arrested a person identified as AH on March 4th, 2026, but the main suspect and others remain at large. Police have conducted house searches and appealed for public tips, underscoring the island's ongoing struggle with drug-related violence. Weeks later, Denisha was returned home in a coffin. And on the first week of April, the 29-year-old would have her homegoing service. Her mom went to Instagram and said the following: "My daughter, Sincere, is going to cherish the heavenly memories of her sister. They were like two beautiful butterflies soaring together. Only God knows how much Denisha is loved, but God's love surpasses all. You will be deeply missed. Thank God you were forever part of our lives, a main part of us. I love you forever." And the sister that she was with had also went to Facebook and said the following: "I pray I'm your sister in every lifetime, because I couldn't imagine any life without you. I don't know how I'm going to move forward. I'm still so confused. I never felt this broken before. We were just dancing on the beach together like nobody was around. It was always just me and you in our own world. The love we shared for one another was truly unmatched. A bond so tight, I would have never in a million years thought it would be broken like this. I miss you so much, sister. Save a dance for me." At the end of the day, fam, this story leaves behind more questions than answers. A young woman from Miami takes a trip out the country to celebrate a birthday with her sister, something thousands of people do every single day. But instead of coming home with pictures and memories from vacation, she returned home in a casket. Authorities say the man who was targeted that night may have been connected to an ongoing war, which we already talked about. But I guess some things still would never make sense. When the bullets start flying, they don't always hit the intended target. And sometimes the people who end up paying the ultimate price has absolutely nothing to do with the conflict in the first place. Tonight, a family in Miami is grieving. A sister is mourning, and another life has been added to a war that authorities say may have already been responsible for hundreds of others. Rest in peace to that young woman. Prayers to the family. And as always, fam, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And till then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
I ain't gonna lie, that shit's sad. Like, I don't really know what to say. Like, she went out of town to have fun and came back in the casket. Like, what the? Like, bro. The world is a wicked place. Like, this shit wicked. But make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, man. I'm gone.